I had to overcome that fear because I kept avoiding this with all of the friends, all of the people that I showed up with. Like, I want to relentlessly chase my dreams. Are you game? That was the thing that I was avoiding around my friends.
How do you overcome your fears and get what you want? Identify them. Identify the fear, name it, say it out loud. When you say it, it loses its power. Hey everybody, this is Bianca.
And this is Emilia.
Welcome to another episode of Evolve Ventures, where we are helping growth-minded humans evolve by breaking just one, limiting belief at a time. I don't know why I do that every time.
You do it every time.
I've been doing it a lot lately. Whoops. All right, whatever. We hope you enjoyed the last episode, number 200.
Woo! Baby.
What does rejection mean about you? For today, number 201, Motivation Monday, how to overcome your fears and get what you want. Every single one of us at one point in time has said, I want this. I want that. I want to be, do, see, feel, experience, have, whatever. And the sad truth is that only a small percentage of people who say that they want something actually go out and achieve it and get it. Not because they're not capable, not because they're not enough, not because of any inherently negative qualities in themselves. But it comes down to a few things, and that's what we're going to be diving into today. The belief that we have about ourselves, the belief that we have about our ability to do things. So that's number one. Number two, the skill set. So actually knowing how to go get the thing that you want. And then number three, overcoming the fears that come up along the way. So for today, that is what we're going to be diving into in this quick 10-minute little tidbit episode for you. How do you overcome these and start working on them and then actually get what you want?
All right. What do we want to have the focal point of this fear be? Like an example. Because like when we talk about this, there's so many different fears that crop up. And I can go from like the monster under the bed, wanting to get out of bed without any fear. I can go into the metaphorical monster under the bed, which could be in your 20s. It could be, overcoming, I don't know, getting out of your friend group that is not toxic and grinding. Like it could be so many different things. And one of the things that I believe is really beautiful about this is that we all have different fears. We all have different fears, but yet there are trends in every one of our fears that we know what it feels like to have fear. We actually just got off of a group coaching session that we had, and it was really fun because we started to talk about what is your stress response when you are in a fearful or stressful situation. And we know the 4 F's, which we've talked about in former episodes, but what is your go-to F response, which is it fight, flight, freeze, or fawn? And so why I bring that into this episode is because oftentimes when we understand what our stress or fear response is, we can kind of figure out what is the fear that we want to overcome. So, for example, one of the biggest fears that I had was the fear of being disliked, especially around going deeper into like who I was. And I think that a lot of people fear this in general, the fear of being disliked for actually being who you are. And that can show up in intimate relationships, that can show up in friendships. I know for me, it was very much friendships. So like when Bianca and I got together, right, very much afraid of, will this work out? Will she like me because I'm kind of weird in the sense that I love goals and I love goal setting and all this stuff. And having to transform that started by me understanding that I typically avoid or flee through situations that are around goal setting, because goal setting highlights how different I am in comparison to others. So what was that for you? Were you flighting things? Are you noticing that there's patterns in your situations where you always shut down whenever someone talks about something? Whenever you go to a specific party, you fawn, you put everyone else's needs above yours? Or are you fighting your way through whatever battle it is that you're going through? And when you start to kind of notice this, what crops up for you? What do you want? Well, for me, I wanted to make sure that Bianca and I could be on our 201st 201st episode talking about fear. not ever. Yeah, she's geeking out over there on the mic. Not ever missing an episode. What does that require? What does that take? I remember there was a video that I sent to you, B, of like, I was so theatric. I like turned around my swivel office chair and I was doing a video pretty much asking her, like, does she want to sign up for this journey? And though I don't really know what it looks like, it certainly didn't look like every single Saturday recording. I had to overcome that fear because I kept avoiding this with all of the friends, all of the people that I showed up with. Like, I want to relentlessly chase my dreams. Are you game? That was the thing that I was avoiding around my friends, right? So, B, I know you got some things bubbling up there that you want to add to this.
So to kind of reiterate what Emilia was saying, it's number one, identifying what is your fear and how do you typically respond to it. So for the things that you want, the dreams that you have, the goals, the ambitions, the desire, what is that fear that's coming up for you? Is it that people aren't going to like you? Is it that you're not capable? Is it that you might lose people? What is that fear? Really narrow in on it, because when you can get clarity around what is this, you can then go into the second part, which is really identifying, what does this mean about me? What is the story that I'm telling myself about this? So it's not just that I might lose people, but what does that mean? What if I'm alone? What if I try to do this thing and I fail? That means I'm a failure. It means that maybe everybody was right all along. I wasn't actually supposed to be doing this thing. And when you can get really clear on those two things, you can start to do this third step, which is, we've talked about this in previous episodes, but it's exposure. It's exposure therapy. It's setting a goal and slowly starting to do the little things every single day that'll inch you there. So when I reached out to my mentor, we were together. We were at the gym and we're leaving, and I look at him and I said, I want to be a better speaker. I see you posting, this was before Emilia and I think got together. This was like right before.
Yeah.
And I was like, I want to be a better speaker. I want to eventually be able to like talk to people and speak effectively and really get my message across. And he said, okay, awesome. You need to record a video of yourself every single day and post it on social media. And I was like, what else can I do? I was like, I don't want to do that. Can I do something else? I did eventually do it though. So the fear that came up for me was, I can't do that. I'm going to look so stupid. I don't know how to talk. I don't know how to speak well. But no one's ever going to want to listen to me. The deeper fear was, I'm not good enough. So when I was actually able to identify those things and get clear on it, I started doing that. So every single day I recorded a video of myself, and sometimes it took me an hour to finally post it because I was recording it and re-recording it and trying to make sure that I looked good in a certain way and doing all of these things. But after months and months and months and months, I eventually started becoming a better speaker. Now I'm not great. I still use like every other word, and I'm trying to overcome that. my ability to speak and speak well, and not only speak, but communicate, has gotten so much better. And now I can sit here every Saturday and record and
act like you like it.
Yeah, to do all of the things that we get to do. So how do you overcome your fears and get what you want? Identify them. Identify the fear, name it, say it out loud. When you say it, it loses its power. Mm-hmm. Number 2, what does that mean about you? What's the story underneath the fear? You got to go a little bit deeper. And then number 3, start exposing yourself little by little to the thing that you want. Start making little inch pebbles forward. And eventually you will get there. It's not sexy, but it works. Do you want it to be sexy or do you want it to work?
Yeah, typically those two don't go hand in hand. No. And the exposure, that's something that like I didn't realize how valuable that is. Like I remember growing up and my dad was always saying like, we got to get you exposed to this. And I realized because we desensitize to the things that we don't know or we don't have a keen understanding of, we will fear. The brain is set up that way. So when you can expose yourself to something, it reduces the fear because the law of familiarity naturally will creep in and work in your favor. And so whether it's you trying to get into grad school or you trying to, get around a certain friend group or you trying to become the best version of yourself, it takes courage to expose yourself to that fear. It takes courage to look at that fear and name it for what it is. But like Bianca said, the fear mongers, they will take us all. And if we call them out, they will lay back. They will. And over time, here's that key component. Over time, you need to trust that process of minor exposure. That gives you big results. So hopefully this episode was helpful for all of y'all. Bianca, what is your episode suggestion and final takeaway for our listeners?
135, turn your losses into lessons. Final takeaway, getting what you want is a formula. It really is. It's this 3-step process. And I guess the 4th step would be just keep going until you get it, because you're probably going to fail along the way. So Definitely. Keep going and just keep changing your approach, and eventually you will get there.
For sure. That's where that grit and resilience is such a key component. Yeah, I'm going to not say what I was going to say there, but we'll bring that into another episode. My episode takeaway is 165, Motivation Monday, Are Emotions Real? Because I really do believe the more that we understand how we work, how our brains work, how our emotions, how our perceptions work, we can feel that much closer to shifting control inwardly instead of feeling like we don't have control over these fears, which we do. So, all right, y'all, happy Monday. We would love for you to join our Evolve Venture Society, which is popping off. We would love for you to join us on IG Lives, which is popping off on Fridays. We have so many things that are coming, and we're so excited to continuously bring you things of value that are applicable not only today, but tomorrow and as you evolve. And so that if there's ever anything that crops up where you're like, oh, I would love to hear more about this in an episode, please feel free to reach out to Bianca and myself, DM us. We also have time on the calendar that we dedicate every single Saturday to help if you're struggling in this regard. We have that completely free, completely private for our listeners to get around us, to get around people that want to see you overcome these fears and set up an action plan for you to get through that fear, because we got you.
Thank you so much, everybody. We'll see you next time.
Bye, everyone.